What's going on?
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding. From the words I spit, so sharp, so freezing. So cold, behold, frostbite they feeling. I could tear you apart or I could go heal them. Don't believe in fate, don't believe in ceilings. I just need a taste and my mind starts feeling. I don't pace myself, I grind on kneeling. Got lust for change, I just love the feeling. I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. Cause I'ma live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I go by at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll still be winning. I live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I go by at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll still be winning. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon.
You know, Ken, you and I try to find our own creative outlets when we're doing this show, and we're coming up on the paranormal month, October, and I'm trying to figure out how we could do that intro, but I'm going to make every single person's eyes that's on that screen glow evil red for the month of October.
It's all right. Fear self, evil, evil,
Evil. Do that.
evil.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Dead Air Live and the Dead Air Full Spectrum channel. We are here on our Sunday night live special, which is, again, in and around the topic of the paranormal and from time to time, return of family and friends. Tonight is one of those nights, and it's investigation night. That's the best part. It's not talking about philosophies of the field or the rules and regulations of what it is we should do. Just hell bent searching for paranormal evidence. And we've got a doozy for you tonight. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, the thumbs up for our content and the reminder bell to let you guys know each and every time Dead Air is putting out new content. So thank you guys again for being here. Hello to everybody in the chat in abundance. I can see you all in there right now. That's great. And I'm sure there will be more on the way because our guests tonight are very, very familiar with our audience. Isn't that right, Ken?
Absolutely. We've got some friends of ours who have agreed to come in tonight, and they did a phenomenal investigation. A place on my bucket list that I would love to visit someday. And they had an opportunity to go there, and they are going to share their experiences with us tonight. I'm very much looking forward to this because they're so kind as to come in from time to time and let us know what their experiences are, what they might have captured, and share it with all of us. And this is great because what they're doing is 3,000 miles away from me.
Mm-hmm. Way too far away. But someday, you and I keep talking about that, Ken. Someday we'll get a chance to get over there to the West Coast. They've taken trips to the East Coast, so it's only fair that we invade their territory. We'll do that sometime here in the future. But
Hmm.
without any further ado, Ken, if you want to introduce them.
Sure.
I'll do the bringing on, as you call them out.
Okay, so this is you're going to bring him on, George. I'll just
Yes.
introduce. Okay, so again, we love talking to these folks. Cody and Story, where have I seen you before? Maybe like 10 minutes ago, right?
Dinner. Yeah.
Um, yeah. So anyway,
Oh, before we do anything,
yes,
happy birthday.
thank you.
I know we talked about it, but I think we should make that, a fair meme going on in the chat tonight. And I'm sure that'll keep me very busy while you introduce our guest, Ken. I'll keep an eye on chat talking about your birthday. Yeah, it was a birthday dinner tonight with the whole group, which, as you
Yeah,
said, was a really good time. So, again, happy birthday, sir.
I appreciate it. I'm about, let's see, two margaritas and a Patron shot in tonight. So
Good
we've got
God.
just the right people to do it. Anybody in Rise Up Paranormal has a birthday or an anniversary or a significant date, they pick a restaurant. We all show up, and everybody did that tonight, and it was wonderful. Thank you so much for coming. I picked Mexican tonight, George. That was
Gotta
my
help.
pick. That
Gotta
was.
help your wife. Oh my God.
Well, we're going to bring some people on who know a little bit about Mexican restaurants. First of all, again, this is an investigation of the USS Hornet in Alameda, California.
Wow.
And these folks are nice enough to be here and share their experiences with us. So they really need no introduction. So, first of all, I'm going to bring in a great friend of the show, a couple of women that we absolutely love and consider part of our family. This would be Cheryl Plumb. Hello, Cheryl. I'm sorry, George, I
Hello.
jumped the gun. And the American witch herself, Melissa St. Hilaire.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Good
ready for
evening.
ready for fiesta tonight.
It's good
Yeah,
afternoon
thank
for
you.
you guys over there.
Yes. What is like 5? A little after 5.
Yeah, sun's still out.
And joining them tonight, we have a couple who accompanied them on their investigation. We've had them on the show before. We really enjoyed having them very much. So they're going to share their perspectives as well. Michelle and Paul, please come in, join us. Welcome back.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Glad to be
All
back.
right.
Yeah.
So the gang's all here tonight. And as we've mentioned on a couple of occasions already, the USS Hornet, and a place that is iconic. We've heard about, I know I've heard about for decades and decades. So before we even get into this thing, what I wanted to do is ask you a little bit about number one, if this is your first visit, and number two, what are your impressions of this incredible naval vessel that's docked in Alameda, California?
So this is actually our second time investigating this ship all together, all of us. So we went originally, last year?
hmm
It was
Yep.
last year. And it was funny because it was our first time there. It almost seemed like the ship was quietly watching us. Like we didn't have a whole lot of interaction. We had come straight from an 8-hour trip to get there into unloading and starting the live stream investigation. So Michelle and Paul were there. I think Michelle, you were a little sick, right? So I think we were a little bit guarded and just not as open as we could have been.
I think we were really low on energy.
We were super low on energy. But the second time, this time when we showed up, the ship almost welcomed us.
It fully welcomed us. I mean,
Welcome. I'm getting goosebumps currently.
well, when Cheryl and I first drove up, and it was kind of funny because we got an invite this time to actually to stay on the ship for 2 nights in a row. And when we first showed up, there was like nobody there. And so we were kind of like, okay, this is a little strange. But as we were driving up, all of a sudden I heard this voice crystal clear in my head that said something about like, oh, we have something to show you, or we're so excited to show you something. Do you remember that, Cheryl?
Yeah.
And I was like, what is going to happen?
Right.
And I think what it was, we'll get to it later, of course, but I have a feeling what they were trying to tell us about was the captain's quarters, but we'll talk about
Mhm.
that more later, but just planting
Yeah.
the seed.
Well, I mean, military bases, naval vessels, it's not unique that these things hold some sort of energy.
Right.
Um, but what is it about this particular ship exactly that has been such a long-standing destination place for investigators? Is it, I mean, what is the general vibe of the place? Is it, you mentioned the word welcoming, and
Right.
this particular vessel has been, God, it's been investigated for decades now.
Well, it was decommissioned in 1970, and it
Mhm.
just by happenstance was saved from being destroyed on multiple occasions. So it's almost like the ship did it itself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? 'Cause it kept exchanging hands, and then finally it got in the hands of the people that run the museum. So I mean, it should have been gone decades ago, but for
Mhm.
some reason, they did not destroy it. They did not scrap it. They kept it going, and honestly, I mean, it did serve in World War II. In 44 and 45, it got 9 battle stars for its service in the Pacific. There was some action, some serious action there. They've
Mhm.
got 300 deaths that they can say happened on the ship between battle, accidents, and suicides. Like there's history there. I mean, things have happened on this ship, and it definitely echoes through those halls. Let me
And
tell
you definitely feel watched. You know what I mean? Like, to echo back to when the first time that we went, I know that as the second I stepped onto it, I felt like I was being vetted almost, like they were trying to
you.
make
Size
sure
it
it
up.
was okay. Yeah, like, who is she? Is she going to be okay? Do we want to talk to her? And
Mhm.
what's funny is a lot of other mediums that I've talked to, because Sam said the same thing. Sam and Heidi had the same experience when they first stepped on it. They felt like, oh, like we're being watched and judged, you know? So there's a definite like vibe of sentience there, and a definite vibe of like watching and making sure that whoever's on there is supposed to be there or something like that. It's interesting.
What
You
did
know,
you guys get from the beginning, Paul, Michelle?
I've been there probably 5 times, and
Wow.
every time I go, it's a different vibe. And even throughout the ship, it's like certain areas you get certain feelings. You know how we were walking through the hallways and we were feeling off kilter and dizzy and nauseous. Like the first time I went on there, I got nauseous when I first walked on, but now when I go on, it doesn't happen. So it just seems like it's different every time. I think there's maybe different spirits each time, and this time we actually investigated in a different area I've never investigated in.
Same.
Yeah,
And
that
I
was
think
pretty
this
cool.
time the reason why the vibe was a little bit different was not only it was the second time, but they were having a Paracon there. So that kind of
Mhm.
stirred things up for us when we got there. Things were already happening, you know what I mean?
Mhm. What I wanted to ask you about this, I mean, I've been on a couple of naval vessels for investigations, been on a military base, but this is something that's a little unusual, I would think, in as much as the people who are stewards of this particular vessel seem to embrace the idea of the spirit presence there. And that's not typical all the time because there's so much worry about respect and so forth. But I wanted you to speak a little bit about the people who are in charge of this vessel because I'm sure it's probably a nonprofit, and their emphasis is always, despite any kind of paranormal connotation, is always to emphasize the history of this. So what makes this a little bit different in as much as those people embrace this kind of thing?
So I can tell you that when you go on to the USS Hornet website, and I highly suggest if you guys are coming into the California area, check it out because they have a full area of the paranormal where you can come and you can sleep on the ship. And there's a wonderful gal in charge of this named Faye. She is
Okay.
fantastic, super knowledgeable, just cool as a cucumber, and she will just lead you to the coolest places. But there's programs all the time where you can basically like homeschools and scout groups. I mean, kids, adults, to come and learn the history, and you can spend the night in the sick bays. I sent you the picture of the sick bays where me and Melissa slept the first time.
That area, FYI, very vibey. I don't know if we barely slept down there. I feel like because there was constant noise and we felt a presence all night, right, Cheryl? Like,
Right, right. And I mean, the whole vibe is they're accepting. They know that bringing in the paranormal aspect is educational for people that have never experienced that.
Right.
It helps pay for upkeep on the ship, which is an astronomical amount of money, even if it's
Right.
docked.
Right.
And they're just everybody is very respectful because it is military. So, I mean, they've just married all of these great things about this ship. So, I highly, 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 um, I definitely just say anybody should go there. Anybody
also,
should go there, spend the night. They do a fabulous job.
also a lot of veterans seem to work on the ship, to
Oh,
help keep it going. And it's really fun to talk to them because they have so much knowledge and so much history. And Cheryl and I will just sit there and talk to the guys and just be like, tell us all your stories. We want to hear everything. And these are like hard, and these are like military guys, you know what I mean? They're in it, they're the real deal. And they will tell you stories about hearing footsteps, voices, whispers, and just knowing that it's haunted and there's a presence there. And yet again, with so much respect, you know what I mean? So, and I kind of feel like this particular ship is particularly extra, I don't know, special, maybe because of the respect. It's not like, yes, they're having, they just started the Paracon, that was brand new. Yes, they've had several ghost hunts over the years, but it all seems to be done with respect to who's on it, and to honor the history of it, as opposed to just spectacle or gimmick. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
it seems like, I feel like the spirits that are on the ship get that too. They understand it. And so it all kind of works together.
Right. So this was the very first Paracon on the USS Hornet, and they absolutely want it to be an annual event. Father Kenneth Torres did an amazing job putting it together and setting everything up and getting some great people there that were into way different things than I've ever experienced.
Wait,
So it was really neat. I mean, demonologists and people that were worked closely with Ed and Lorraine Warren. So it was a whole different side than I'm used to seeing at Paracon. So we'll definitely get those dates out when we hear about them and try to get as many of you guys out as possible.
yeah.
That's great. Michelle, you said that, or maybe Paul as well, you've been on this particular ship 5 times. What are some of the guardrails that they have on this? Because I would imagine, and maybe I'm wrong, that the people who run this thing have a certain criteria that they want as far as behavior, comportment, approach, methods. I mean, they certainly don't want anyone to be disrespectful. So, is this something that they make clear, either verbally or in some type of waiver, or how would they handle in their business?
When I went, it was a long time ago, and I think somebody else kind of did firsthand with the people at the ship. But basically, the rules are pretty similar to most places. They don't want you to drink alcohol before you go on or use any drugs or anything like that. And a lot of that stuff is for not only safety, psychological safety, but just it's kind of hard to walk around the ship. The stairs are really, really steep in a couple of sections, and you have to step up to go into each room because I guess it's to, when the water flows through there, they have these high steps you got to go through to go to each room. So for safety purposes, you have to be, clear minded.
And I mean,
Hmm.
you're walking around all of this steel in, just tennis shoes. So you do have to be very careful.
Yeah, and a lot of times when we're walking around, the lights could be off
Yeah.
too. So and we like the lights off, right? Because the spirits like it that way. We get
Right.
more evidence. But we're actually in infrared mode, and it's great because when you're there at night, it's got a whole different spooky feeling. And that's an interesting picture right there. We'll get to that later, but yeah, that investigation was
Yeah,
great.
we had a lot of fun with that.
Just those few moments reading that to the spirits and them responding back.
That was really crazy. I feel like we should maybe we could set that clip up. That's the one where it's the long table, Ken, and there's all the lights going off, and we're sort of huddled to one side listening. And Michelle and Paul set that up for us because that was your idea, and it was so interesting, and I feel like it just worked really, really well.
Yeah, so Michelle had a great idea. Basically, what it was is you come up with phrases and then you let the spirits, and they're typical phrases that the spirits may know, like, a rhythm or a rhyme or something like in the past that you would use. And then this in particular, this moment just came to me, and I'm like, hey, you know what? Let's do what Michelle kind of does on investigations. Let's read the motto.
The mission statement.
Yeah, the mission statement. And so basically, we were just leaving out words, and then we were seeing if the spirits could fill in those words for us. And they did. So that was quite interesting to see that in the paranormal field, especially with clear evidence coming back as words. That's an intelligent response.
So
really cool.
when I had sent Ken all of this stuff for this, I kind of put it in chronological order, starting with a couple videos that were from us the day before,
Right.
and moving into the group. So did you want to go ahead and go with that one, Ken? I'll let you know.
Okay, so sure, we can do pretty much whatever we want to. So, Cher, you labeled this
That would have been the last one.
Mad Libs.
Mad Libs.
Mad Libs. That's what I was going to say. I kept wanting
Yeah,
to
I was going to play that one last, but
when we were doing it, I kept saying, I was like, this is spirit Mad Libs. This is so funny to me. And it's like, it makes perfect sense because it kind of like riffs on the old shave and a haircut bit that we try a bunch, but then brings in new layers and levels and makes it more personal.
Okay, well, we'll give you an example of this. It's just simply labeled Mad Libs. It's about a minute and 50 seconds long. So this might be a good illustration of what Paul was talking about. So let's take a look.
Okay, everybody huddle up.
All right, the huddle.
Power to use USS and its collection, expedition, and to promote and understanding of science.
It said
It says history.
It said history.
Dude, what a great freaking idea.
That was a great
That was
idea.
a great freaking
Mad Libs.
idea.
I love
Yeah,
it.
Michelle. You know who gave me that idea? Michelle. Because
Michelle, you're a
that's
freaking
who
genius.
just
You are a
decided
genius.
to do these ideas and leave words out.
Okay, can we listen to mine too
Okay.
now?
Yeah.
I'm excited because I'm like, what if I
I
get
love
a
this. So
different
this
one?
is, we're going to call this Paranormal Mad Libs.
Paranormal Mad Libs.
This is an English history
What if
on
he throws
our
something
mission
like?
statement.
What if he throws something gross in there accidentally? Okay,
Right.
ready?
You gotta
Okay,
live
go
it
see.
and learn it.
Power to use USS and its collection, expedition, and to promote and understanding of science, technology, and
Service.
And service.
Stop it.
It
Okay,
said it.
so you got history.
I got the
and I
history.
got
You got
service.
And
Yeah,
weirdly, I
service.
did notice a little blip in there for educational.
Educational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's
Yep,
hear it one more
listen one more
time.
time. Yep.
Can they hear this? I'm like freaking. What?
And I
Can
don't-
they hear this? This is ridiculous.
Ready? Okay, let's go.
power to use USS and its collection.
Okay, so it seems kind of like, I mean, you're leaving the spirits to their own devices.
Right. So basically, what we had done was, we were sitting at that table. Not a whole lot was going on. It kind of felt like we were being watched from the outsides. Like they were just kind of like standing around like we were having a meeting. So we figured that's when they came up with the idea like, okay, well, here's this mission statement. Let's read this mission statement. Everybody take a line and leave words out and see if the spirits will fill it in for us. not knowing that we would actually get, I'm getting goosebumps already, that we would actually get like more than one response on our different recorders. It was really fun. Just live doing it in person and being able to experience it. Unfortunately, it's hard to hear it on our other audio. But anyway, I thought it'd be fun to have you guys see us having fun.
Sure. I mean, and the idea of, again, I keep beating this horse, but I think it's very important. The idea of humor or introducing humor into a situation, if you're dealing with someone who has um, human feelings, characteristics, and they carry those to the afterlife, why not? And it has nothing to do with being with provoking or being provocative in any way or being disrespectful, but the idea of introducing the idea that it's like we want to have a little bit of fun and we want to invite you, if you're capable and you're willing, most importantly, to be a part of this, then certainly why not? I think that is just as respectful as going into a place and saying, "Oh, please, if you talk to us," and and all the rest. And that's fine. That's not a bad approach. But the idea is, we want to introduce some laughs, and we want you to join along, play the game with us if you're curious. So I love those type of experiments
Mhm.
because you're really touching the human condition, and humor is part of the human condition.
Right,
Totally.
and that's why we love working with Michelle and Paul so much
That's
because
exactly what I was
we
going to say.
literally have just so much fun between their energy and our energy and everybody just there was so much serious stuff that happened on that ship, so many, sad situations that it's kind of like, you know what, you can have fun like spirits. If you want to have a little dance party, we might have done a little bit of that in the captain's quarters.
We definitely
Sure,
did.
why not?
Yeah, I feel like we get more when we're having fun. I mean, yeah, it's great to collect evidence, but it's the interaction that I'm really there for.
Yeah, and the thing that I want to come back to this, and then we'll move on. But I know over here, one of the places that is, one of those places that's investigated quite a bit is the USS Salem.
Mhm.
And I know, Melissa, you're from here, and Cheryl, so I'm sure you've heard of the USS Salem. There is one particular part of the ship where a crewman lost their lives, and people have gone in there to try to reach out to him and contact them. And the family expressed uh, their feelings that they didn't quite embrace it
Mm.
because I think they didn't want their loved one to be exploited
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
or appropriated to be known as nothing more than the ghost of the USS Salem, because this was a sailor um, who gave his time, risked his life um, to be on this ship. So this is why I keep coming back to the idea where on ships like the USS Hornet, and I guess Yorktown in Texas is another one, and we can go down the list here. We won't, but there are, and I understand the idea that in embracing this, you also help the cause by generating revenue that at the end of the day will help to keep all of these things viable.
Yep.
I certainly understand that, but I am I'm blown away by the idea that they wrap their arms around this, which is why I asked, Michelle and Paul about the guardrails they may put up. Listen, we're willing to do this. And you can go on these ships. These are people who um, you not necessarily lost their life on the ship, but this ship had such great meaning to them that they come in visitation
Yeah.
because this was their brothers at that point, regardless of how you look, and this vessel meant something to them. So I know that's kind of, but that's why I keep circling back to it, because I'm so interested in that mindset where people will welcome this type of thing as long as you don't screw it up. Call it what it is.
Exactly. And
Exactly.
I mean, Faye was a wonderful host. The first time that we were there, she gave us all the ground rules and said basically this is where the staterooms are. These are where people were going to be sleeping. You know, the security and her and all that stuff. So you can have the run of the ship. You know, go downstairs. This is where you're going to be mostly. And if you come up to the deck, just know don't go past here because people are going to be sleeping. So they were really trusting with us because I think they realized that right off the bat they knew that we had good intentions and
Yeah, sure.
what are you going to break on a ship like that? Let's be real, it's all steel and that's going to hurt me first.
You're right, right, right.
But even for the Paracon, we all stayed in staterooms, and I was kind of thinking, oh, is this going to be like a little hotel? Nope.
Nope.
It stateroom. It's all metal, and there's little cots, and you have to shower in like the barracks showers, like they did. It was crazy.
It was a little creepy too, taking a shower in there. I got to be honest.
We had to team up on that because
We were
yeah,
both like, we're not doing this alone in the middle of the night.
But I have to say one thing about that ship. It is very well kept.
It is.
yes,
It
they
is
were great.
amazingly well kept. I mean, it looks like it's painted, just updated and everything like that. Because I've been on ships. My dad was a merchant mariner, and as a kid, he'd invite me over, and we'd go to the ship. And his quarters were really dark and dingy, and he was an electrician like me. And they had to be on the ship for like 9 months, and it's not easy. And he said basically when you're on the ship, you have other jobs. You're like a cook too. He's not just an electrician, but he's a cook. So if you burn the rice, you got to eat the whole pot. You know what I mean? So these
Perfect analogy right there.
personalities on the ship may have different personalities, like you said, Ken, and where it comes out in your personality and Cheryl's personality and Melissa's. When we all come together, that energy is amazing. And we basically got into the captain's quarters, and we raised the energy in that area, and they were just coming through the second time we were there. It was unbelievable the evidence we got.
Well, I would imagine that if they are engaging, it's because things are working there. Because it's just as easily, they're just as easily capable of ignoring something like that. Yeah, I mean, as an old Navy thing, if it moves, salute it. If it doesn't move, paint it.
Yes.
That's that's the Navy credo. But let me ask you this, and we've got about four more clips we're going to play. Who is the prominent, if there is one, the prominent spirit of the USS Hornet? Because there's usually, some people who kind of are at the forefront of this thing, who always engage people and people call on them. Does the Hornet also have that kind of thing where there's certain characters, if you will, that are more prominent than others?
Gosh, I feel like it's a really ensemble cast. What about you guys?
Yes. Yeah, I feel like everybody's got their post.
Yeah.
So this trip, we got to hang with the captain more,
Yeah.
got a lot more interactions with the captain, but also down in the bowels of the ship, we got another name.
Yeah.
And this is a huge ship. Now, I sent a video to Ken that is just kind of a little time lapse of me and Melissa walking from our stateroom to the area downstairs where we got our first EVP, and it is just It is so far, let me tell you.
It's
Lots of walking.
ridiculous. It's so much walking, and you're kind of you have to watch everything. It doesn't, even though it's completely moored and stable, you can still kind of feel like you're on a ship, and then all the and having to go through all the portals and everything.
Right.
And when you get down into the bowels there of the ship, it's so dark. And there's always noises, and it's kind of strange because, half the time you're like, okay, are these just the weird random dings and noises of a ship or
not.
Or not?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a good cast of characters, everywhere.
I think it's probably a good time because we're going to bring George in here in about, a couple more minutes anyway. So I think it would be a good idea. Let's play that time lapse of you traversing the ship. I so wanted to put the Benny Hill theme over this, but I
That'd be perfect.
I thought about it.
Michelle was laughing the whole time when she saw it.
I resisted the temptation to do that, and I just let it stand on its own. So let's take a time lapse look at the USS Hornet, and away we go. Awesome. I think it's also good to note that this is a museum.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too. Every single vehicle on there also has its own weird little vibe,
Yeah. That's good, Melissa. You didn't have to duck your head. I would have been like concussed at that point.
Right?
I've been on these ships, and
I love the talking. We got munchkins.
Melissa's helium voice.
Oh my gosh. I need some of that wine, Cheryl.
I didn't take out the audio because it was just too funny.
It's so funny.
She just landed from another planet.
Oh my god.
It's not like when you're in the military. I really did a good job putting this stuff back together.
Who knows? Maybe that's how fast the spirits can hear because they're a little faster vibration, right?
Totally. Oh, and this is where I think we got something, right?
Yeah. That's where we got the Alex EVP.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm crying right now.
Melissa, that chipmunk. Yeah, I knew that was coming. All right. So listen, my last thing here before I rejoin you later, I want to touch on this real quick. We go around. Maybe Melissa is the one that give me a vibe on this place. It was your first time or second, Cheryl, Melissa?
Second time.
Second time. Okay, so I know Michelle said 5 times. Give me the difference in the vibe from the first to the second time, if there was any at all, or I'm not saying they singled you out from the thousands of people that have cut you. Right, exactly. It's like, oh, we remember Melissa, but give me a vibe check on this ship.
I feel like the first time we were on it, it was almost a little flat, right?
Cautious, like they were vetting us,
hesitant, even to the point where there were a couple of times where I was like, "Is this even haunted?" You know what I mean? Like I had to kind of question for a moment. But I feel like when the first time we went, everything changed when we went into, was it the radio room? And then all of a sudden it got really vibey and active, and I started to get I felt like something go through me, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, now I get it. Now I can see what people are saying. The second time, the first word that comes to mind is party. I just got this party vibe, and I don't think it was us per se. I don't think it was oh, Melissa's here. I think it was more like the Paracon that was happening, because all of these people were coming onto the ship. Everyone is excited. Everyone is really open to paranormal activity. And I feel like that the group collective intention heightened the activity. Does that make
Yep.
sense?
I
Yep,
felt like
it
we were
does.
safe this time around, that they could just interact.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to talk about this on our, I think it was our Patreon show Monday, where we talked about recognition and
Mm.
memorializing people. And I'm not suggesting that these folks are needy in any way, but let's face it, when you are recognized,
Yep.
and I'm not sure, how many names are available. I'm sure that they're listed, but I'm not sure that everybody knows who they're talking to address them by first name. I've never been there. Maybe they do, but this idea of recognition and letting people know that you will not be forgotten, it has nothing to do with ego or being needy in any way. It's just a basic human thing that your endeavors, your service, and everything is not going to be forgotten. And if you're capable of reaching out to us, we want to build that bridge to you.
Right.
So I think that's probably a common denominator, whether it's a military base, whether it's a ship, whether it's a battlefield, or whatever it is, to let them know that you may not have lost your life here, but we respect the idea that this space means something to you.
Hmm.
So I think that's a great way to go in, and it sounds like all of you did that.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is disappear for a little while. I'm going to bring George in here right now, take us to the top of the hour, but I thank you for your time, and I will return. Thank you.
See
Thank
you
you.
soon.
Yeah.
All right, thanks,
Good
Ken.
morning.
You're stuck with us, George.
He
Yes,
just
now.
wants another shot of tequila. I can't even say that.
This is the point where the show starts going downhill. My apologies ahead of time, though.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, I want to pull this up. If I can share the screen here for a second, because I thought this was kind of neat too. This has got to put me back here and here and here. Their advertisement for the paranormal on their
Absolutely.
website is just incredible. And I mean, they're doing it justice. But just as Ken said, that there is something to be said about having these events that are important to the spirits.
Yeah.
Melissa, you have to kind of pick up on, well, it's kind of a duality, the energy of the spirits, but the people that are attending
Yes.
also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
And it's pretty much all veterans that work
All
on the
veterans.
ship. I think they're almost, I think they're
Wow.
volunteers, or they
Yeah.
work for the foundation that,
I think
But
so. too.
also to add to that, Cheryl, is that not only there are veterans that work on the ship, there are veteran paranormal investigators that work on the ship.
Yep.
Like we have a friend that had been investigating it on that ship. Michelle said she went 5 times. She went 3 times before I even went. I basically just went with Jim, Melissa, Cheryl, and Michelle, and Michelle was kind of like, oh, ship's not that haunted, but then this last time when we went with Melissa and Cheryl and Jim, it was through the roof. And we didn't know that they were having a paracon. Well, I didn't. And then Jim had mentioned it to me. And then all of a sudden we were in a room with the Warren Foundation and they were clearing spirits. And that was the weirdest part about it, is like I didn't know a priest was going to be here and clear spirits. And,
What
I mean,
what
just the
what was
history.
that like?
That was the weirdest thing, having the priest come in, because it was so different. I feel like it was so different than anything that we've ever really experienced before. And me personally, I come from, old Massachusetts stock, and, even though I had some, one of my grandmas is Catholic, I wasn't really raised religiously. I was raised more like just like a little nature witch. And so, like, my idea of like helping a spirit transcend and things like that, I go more into like what I've learned in mediumship training and witchcraft training.
Sure.
And I have to be, I'll be honest. Like, I didn't really think of that, which is kind of silly because, there's Catholic exorcisms, but I kind of like didn't know if that was really real or if that really did anything. I know, right? And then we're sitting there in this room, this big table. We've got every device, like our devices, their devices, all kinds of stuff, all set up everywhere. And as we're sort of asking, and for some reason, like I noticed that the four of us, whenever we're doing things, we tend to get spirits that ask for help a lot. And maybe it's because they see that we're willing to help them. And so as we're asking and probing, we're getting the spirit that's asking for help. And so these two priests, one Roman Catholic, one Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox, they each start praying. And I think they did, I forget which, is it Psalm 23? I forget which Psalm it is, but it's the walk through the valley of the shadow and fear no evil, carry my rod and staff. I don't know it by heart, but they start doing that. All of the devices light up, everything all down the table. And I'm sitting there.
The coolest part is when he said we were going to make a prayer, we were going to do that, and we were going to, basically send the spirits on from where they were at. And then we were asking, did we send them off, and can you give us a response? And then the light started lighting up.
Yep.
Which was cool.
Yeah.
That the response we were supposed to get. And then I guess somebody said, well, if that was the response that we're supposed to get, and then they were supposed to move on, how did they, manipulate the lights if they moved on? So
right, yeah.
Are they still here, or did they move on?
Well, I think it's the whole free will thing. By opening that up and saying, here you can go, means you can, but you can always come back and forth. So as to be, you're not stuck. If you need help, here you go. Let's help you get out of here. But you can always come back when you feel ready. And
Right.
That's our experience at the Glen Tavern too. It's like we can release things, and then you know what? Next time we come, they say, "I love you."
And then what do you call them, Michelle? Flybys.
Oh, yeah, flybys, and that's perfect for this ship.
Well, you have to take into account, I would imagine, I mean, a lot of these spirits saw battle.
Yes.
And you never get closer to God than in those circumstances. So there's a good possibility that's why they were so responsive to the prayer. I'm sure many of them were Christian and Catholic also. So it was just that time, that time of our country. So I'm not surprised by it, but how do you, and just a curiosity question, how do you gauge, other than what you're seeing with the lights lighting up, the success or failure of what it is that they did? To know.
I think it's a feeling.
It is
just a feeling.
Yeah.
It's a feeling. It's like clairsentience. You just get like, I don't know, like something feels lighter. Like, especially in that particular moment, I think we all kind of even collectively agreed that the energy felt lighter after they did it. Because they did a couple of things. They did that song.
Yeah, they did the Lord's Prayer.
They did the Lord's Prayer, and then they did like a Ave Maria or something like that. There was
They were singing a little bit. I did not put that in the videos because I did not get permission from Father Ken or Father Bob, which I just loved them both.
They were awesome.
Yeah, it was a really nice, like, personal experience for us to have investigating with these priests for the first time. It was really good. And just to clear it up, the people that we were with were not technically with the Warren Foundation anymore. They're with the Warren Society for Paranormal Research Foundation.
They're separate.
So they're separate, but still kind of the same. But still, I mean, we met. I mean, we met and learned about a lot of different types of
so much things. We met a mentee of Lorraine and Ed Warren, and we both, Cheryl and I, he had Lorraine's old rosary, and we both got to hold it, and we were like, I mean, it had
Wow.
such a loving energy too.
Very loving, very light, very, very kind, kind of energy to it, and very vibey.
Yeah, so it was a really, like, just a kind group of people at this Paracon, and I think that just kind of set the stage for our investigation.
Well, I don't want to let
to meet them too.
Yeah, I don't want to let this clearing thing go just yet, because I'm wondering what each of you, your interpretation. Yes, you said it felt lighter. Is it that these prayers shed heaviness of each of the spirits or a heaviness within the room? How would you interpret what
Hmm.
it is that they did and what energies that they were able to diminish, remove from that particular area?
Let's see. For me, I felt like it was the room felt lighter. I felt like just the energy in the room felt lighter.
Right.
And I felt like, the thing about places like this, and this is where we can take a deep dive into strange conversations, but
Yes.
in the witch world and other worlds, there's a thought that iron can kind of control and trap spirits sometimes. And if you think about a big ship, giant ship, it's just a big giant iron box. You know what I mean? And so there could be, and these are all beliefs. I can't say anything is written stone, but there could be a belief that it's almost like a spirit trap, and spirits could get trapped there for a number of different reasons. That they're just confused. They don't know how to get off the ship, or, whatever the reason is. We could speculate till the cows come home. But what they kind of need, in my experience, and this is, the few times I've done this in seances and what have you, when we've released spirits in other places, it's more that they're stuck, but they don't know they're stuck, and they want to ascend, but they don't know how to ascend. They're scared, or they don't know what to expect, or they just get confused about what direction to go in.
Right.
And we just kind of sort of help guide them towards the light. It's not like that we're creating the light, or anything like that. It's already there. We're just sort of sending them off with like love, and to sort of say there is no fear, just keep going and go into the light. Now, the interesting thing is, once they go into the light, they can just be gone and never come back, but they can also just turn around and come right back again, going up into whatever that light is. And we can guess what that is, but no one really knows what it means. But my best feeling is that it's sort of just a kind of almost like going home, like you're suddenly reunited with maybe your ancestors, your family, your loved ones on the other side, that sort of in-betweeny place, or whatever it is, or heaven, or whatever you want to call it. But it seems like it's almost like they're afraid to go through that last little door to get into
Not
that.
knowing. Yeah.
Yeah, not knowing what it is. But once they get
Yeah.
in there, they're like, oh, what was I so scared of? This is great. This is fine. And in fact, I'm going to come back down and move stuff around for you.
And Michelle, I have to ask you, you've been there the most amount of times, and you yourself have personally seen an escalation in the activity there. But my main question to you is, again, going down the road with what was happening with these energies dispersing with what they were doing with prayer, could it also be that with the amount of people coming in, attachments, transients, following the energies of the living going in there, and that could kind of cloud up a room, if you will, in a sense, and just kind of getting rid of the riffraff when the prayers were said and leaving it back to these honest soldiers and military personnel that were there. Do you think that that's a possibility too?
Most
Absolutely.
definitely. I mean, sometimes I have problems with sending people to the light because in my training, I've learned that we have free choice, and most people can figure out. Like we've never been to the light, so we're guiding people to the light, but we've never been there. But in this case, we had priests that were praying. So I think the act of praying, in many cases, is just what somebody needs. They just need someone to pray for them,
Yes.
and then they feel relief. And then if that's what all they needed to go wherever they got to go, then that happens. I guess prayer could be like staging the place in a way, like you were saying. People are bringing in different kinds of energies, and so just that act of praying is like cleansing the area. I mean, normally when I've been in other places where they've released spirits, it's like I feel like a buildup of energy right when the praying's happening, everything's happening, and then poof.
But you got to remember what led up to that was because we were getting some nasty spirits that were saying stuff bad to us. So we were like, you know what, let's just send some spirits on. Maybe they just need help, to go on their way. So
Yeah,
that was kind of interesting how it kind of led to that.
that's wild. Yeah,
Because we
I'm wondering, and maybe we'll save this for the other side of the break. Is Ken joins us back on screen, is wouldn't it be interesting at one of these locations to bring in someone who is a grief counselor
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
really,
and
absolutely.
have them, go through their traumas and how to deal with their traumas, see how they respond from that part also.
We need to
It's a
stay for like a
different
week
type
with.
Yeah.
of energy change. Yeah. So, Ken, you want to bring it back on board as we go to break? And we'll continue on the other side with discussions of the USS Hornet. We've just started because we've got some great video clips and some great stories still coming for the other side of this. So, for those of you that are watching there, again, hit that subscribe button, also the thumbs up, and we'll be back in about 4 minutes. You're watching Dead or Alive on the Dead or Full Spectrum channel. Stay with us.
We'll be right back after these commercial messages.
Now showing on Dead Air Full Spectrum YouTube channel.
New episodes of Extremely Strange coming soon.
Every alternate Thursday on our channel.
Every Thursday. Opposite. Well, that was weird.
In cemeteries across the world, some headstones hold more than just names and dates. They preserve cherished family recipes, etched in stone as a lasting tribute. These recipes are more than instructions for a dish. They are connections to loved ones, memories of shared meals, and a way to keep traditions alive. In this series, we'll be honoring these unique culinary legacies by bringing these recipes to life. With respect and gratitude, we'll cook the dishes exactly as they were meant to be enjoyed.
New episodes of Last Bite coming soon.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost.
Kudos, Ken. You've been keeping up on all the new Patreon members and putting them on that title list.
Yep.
Bravo, sir. Bravo.
Yep. Thank you. for everybody who's supporting us that way. There is an awful lot on there for you to check out. We make sure that we put everything from investigation clips to bloopers to, what we call Paranormal Academy, where we give you our opinions on some of the equipment and techniques that are being used. So, $3 a month. Come on in, check it out, take a look around, make yourself at home. So, we hope you do.
And if you're lucky, you time it right, you just might catch Cheryl Plumb on some Monday.
Ooh.
When
It's
she's
been
not
great
busy.
to
Yes, Jordan.
lately. They are dragging me through the mud on Mondays, but I'll be there.
Well, Monday's town hall is a huge kind of a thing for us because we get to see you all, those who join us online, face to face, people in the chat that we can talk to, and it's unfiltered. We go anywhere we want to and talk about some things that are maybe a bit more controversial and things that affect us. So, absolutely.
Yeah.
Think about it. We appreciate your support. Come and
do.
join us.
Absolutely. All right, Mr. DeCosta, I'm going to leave it back to you because we have some clips to go through, some stories
Sure.
as far as that's concerned. But back over to you, sir.
All right. Thank you, George. I appreciate that. Hey, listen, before we get into the next clip, I had a couple of questions for you real quick because in the paranormal, we do love our theories, don't we? We have a theory for everything.
Right.
How do you feel that water plays into this type of thing?
Oh, thank you for saying that.
Because there are a couple of theories. Number one, spirits can't cross water.
Mhm.
So they are trapped in a location, which I don't know if I subscribe to. Do you think there's a commonality with some of these vessels that hold spirits? Because the other theory is that it actually boosts the energy that they can use. So, whatever theory you want to grab onto, that's fine. But generally speaking, we've investigated a lot of places that are landlocked. We've
Yep.
done military bases that are landlocked. Do you think that plays into this at all? Just curious to see what you think.
I always do. I always think water does play into it, particularly salt water, because there's an idea of conductivity. If you put salt water into a jar and the right little wires and stuff, you can make a light bulb turn on, So it's, it can help generate an energy and activity. And so, yeah, I fully believe that water has a huge, important role in all of this. Because the same as the Queen Mary, if you go to the Queen Mary, it feels wicked haunted. And I
Yeah.
think the water is part of it,
Yeah, that's something I was going to mention because I know of all your trips to the Queen Mary, because you're in California. As far as I know, my geography class in 8th grade told me that there's an ocean.
I got a funny story for you because, on basically, there's this hotel, the Groveland Inn, where we've stayed there before. In Lyle's room, there's a sink, kind of like in the room, right? Because there are small rooms, and there's a sink in the room where the bed is, and the water actually turned on for a second. And they said that Lyle likes to turn on the water. So the water just turned on for I don't know, maybe a couple seconds. And we're like, whoa, what was that?
Mm-hmm.
And it was a weird thing, to see and actually witness it, I didn't get it on camera, but I plan on going back.
He was trying to conduct his own energy, make his own conductor there. So.
And you could look that up, Ken. That place is really cool because it's old. And there's a saloon right there. It's called the Iron Door Saloon, which has a lot of history, So it's in Groveland, California. It's a really cool place.
Also, there's a water connection with the Glen Tavern Inn because of the dam and the flood and all the water that came down into that area. So, yeah, I really do think there's a water thing.
And short story, after we did our investigation with Cheryl, when she brought a piece of the dam, our washing machine flooded our house, and we were blaming the spirit from the Glen Tavern.
Yeah.
And it not
Have
only
you
it was
guys
so
ever
weird.
have you guys ever done, and we have, which doesn't make us cooler than anybody else, but have you guys ever done geological studies on some of the areas that you investigate? Like, what is it built on? What is the surrounding areas and things like that, to try to maybe find a commonality there?
That's a good question. And I just wrote an article about that for a magazine, because they wanted to know about like what makes certain locations haunted. Why would one location be haunted
Right.
versus another? And I do think that there are certain aspects of the land that can contribute to that, whether it is, the water, or, a lot of people that go to Sedona, Arizona feel a lot of funky stuff. And if you look around, the earth there is very red and pink, which would mean that it's iron rich. Um, then there's places like, Newgrange that I went to years ago in Ireland. And if you touch the walls of Newgrange, and you can, not everybody perceives this, but I did, but you can perceive like a slight vibration in the walls. And when I talked to the people there, they said that many people had felt it, and they had they had seismologists come out and study the land to see if they could find a reason for it.
Right.
Now, I personally, and I don't know about the others, I personally haven't done extensive research myself, but I've looked into the other people's research of certain locations. I am fully convinced that there's something to that. There's something to, and some people talk about ley lines, and that and the a buildup of electromagnetic activity because of these alleged ley lines.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what the truth is, but there's something to it.
I would love to know where to go to get that information on certain locations. So yes, love to do that.
Well, there are things you can do with things like tri-field meters and things like that you can do on your own. I have used dowsing rods, not in a metaphysical way, but to find water.
Yep.
Because I'm not that guy who, they cross the spirits here. But we've done grids at places like the Conjuring House, and we found out that it literally is on a grid where there's underground water, and then I turned them over to someone else, showed them how to do it, and they got the same results as far as how it was marked as we made a grid line. So, and I promise everybody out there we're going to show a clip, but I get off on these things sometimes. Geologically, how do you think that affects us? Forget the spirits, but how does that play into our own perception when we're standing on charged ground for whatever the reason? It could be overhead electric lines, man-made. It could be geological. It could be granite. It could be quartz in the granite. It could be water underground, which charges the quartz and the granite.
Yep.
And how that affects us as human beings, putting the spirits aside for a while.
Oh,
stone. Yeah.
Because if you think about driving up a mountain and what the air pressure does when you go up higher and your ears, do weird things. Think about driving through a tunnel that goes underwater, and your body perceives things differently. There's a place in Malta called the Hypogeum that I got to go into. Sadly, I have no footage from inside there because I don't let you take pictures or video or anything. Darn it. But when I went down into that space, they talked about how a lot of people have weird feelings down there because you're deep underground, surrounded by bizarre rock. And the sound in there is strange. And so when you talk and you make the sound do something, it's like it kind of throws you off and it makes you feel off kilter. Right. So I do think that there's a thing where the land can do that to a person.
I think you're totally onto something, Ken, because up in Virginia City, I couldn't get these girls out of the rock shop. They went to
I've been there.
I couldn't get them out of there. Jim couldn't get them out of there. They were in there for like 2 hours.
And I was going to say,
if I was to reach into this drawer and produce crystals right now, you wouldn't think any less of me, because And this is all because of Satori Hawes, who just gives me this and charge this in the moonlight, and this will do this and that. And I'm like, okay, but here I am. I'm a recovering crystallologist.
I can see you're in charge tonight.
They're in my drawer and they're not in my pocket.
And the same thing with the land. If there's conductive stones and rock in that land, I feel like it's going to, amplify your vibration, just like I feel like Paul and Michelle and Melissa amplify my vibration. Like when I'm with them, it's just like your surroundings are absolutely going to affect how you feel. That's why I like to surround myself with good people, and that will raise my vibration, like those kind of places, right?
Yeah, like if and I'm taking another off ramp here, but it's the most underappreciated, investigated part of this field that we're in is the human condition. And I'm all for, hey, listen, invent the next thing that lights up or talks to spirits. You go, and then maybe you'll hit it.
And then I'll buy it.
I think the thing that we underplay is ourselves, the human condition, how we respond to things, projection from the spirit world and perception, how we interpret it mentally or psychologically. When someone shows themselves, they died at 80 years old, but they show themselves as an 18-year-old.
Yep.
So that is projection, and then you're receiving that from them. Anyway, I know I'm on the off ramp right now, so I'll come back down. Let's play a clip, for God's sakes, they say.
Okay.
I want to play a clip here, Cheryl. I'll just run through these because you sent them. How about Melissa getting touch or the captain's quarters?
Let's try the EVP first before the getting touched, because basically that time lapse that we did, Melissa kind of led us down into the bowels of the ship, and we ended up at this one display, and that is where this clip comes from. And then after that is when I feel like maybe he followed us.
He followed.
That's your first mistake, letting Melissa lead you anywhere. Because it's bound not to turn out well. We've known Melissa far too well. It's like, don't follow her. Don't do it. All right, so we'll play that EVP clip for you. We'll see what everybody in chat thinks, and anything else you need to set this up.
Nope. Just hopefully it doesn't link
it works.
Video again.
All right. Speaks for itself, so here we go.
If there are any spirits present, can you tell us your name?
The anticipation is killing me.
Well, what's weird is on this playback, I felt like I just heard another noise I didn't hear before in the background, which is weird.
Alex? Alex. Alex? Wow, we heard you loud and proud. I've got such big goosebumps.
Are there any spirits present? Can you tell us your name?
It's clear as day, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're saying, Eric, you're getting the proper name.
We heard Alex.
Okay.
And I mean, it was one of those things. This is just me and Melissa. We're fiddle farting around, running around the bottom of the ship by ourselves, not like, no plans, no nothing. And
not a real investigation, just us kind of scouting it out, right?
Yeah. And I feel like usually it takes a little bit for me to like understand what the DR60 is playing a lot of times, but like right off the bat, I was like, oh, this is Alex. Like I heard it right off the bat.
And what was weird was I felt drawn to that particular area, and I think what was going on there was a stuff that someone had donated to the ship to have like from that time to have like on a display there.
Mr. Wong.
Mr. Wong. So maybe I don't know what his first name is, or if there's an Alex connected to him somehow, or a child or something. But it felt connected to that stuff there.
I did do kind of a deep dive on people named Alex related to the USS Hornet, and it might be reaching, but there was a famous World War II Navy fighter ace who served as a pilot on the USS Hornet, and his name was Alex Vrasu. And I mean, there's obviously going to be people named whatever.
I get it.
That have been on the ship, but you know what? It's a possibility, and I feel like that one was really clear for me, so we just ran with it.
Okay.
And then it followed us because we were sort of I was drawn to that area, and that's why we did the EVP. And then we left that area, and then that's the one where I got touched in another area.
So we're not sure if that was any correlation or anything, but like I said, we were just scouting and kind of like, taking a few things with us and checking out the area. So we'll see what you guys think. I feel like I could see it happen.
If it's okay with you, Cheryl, because before the show there was a mess, and I'm hearing this for the first time because there was a little Fugazi thing going on with the clip. So if it's okay with you, I could run that through some vocal analysis programs, and then maybe I can, because I don't know if it's a name. Obviously it shouldn't be there, so we'll start with that.
Right.
But maybe the next time out it can maybe, and I'm not saying I'm going to be the final word on it at all.
No, totally. And like I said, our experience is
it might give you a lead.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're open to whatever, but that was just kind of what we came out of it from the beginning. So
okay.
Yeah,
we're going to get into Melissa being touched and what you're doing, but another quick question to you. Your definition of a ghost and spirit might not be the same as mine, and that's fine. I think that ghosts are these residual things that don't acknowledge you, but they walk through a wall.
Okay.
Where I think spirits have free will, come in visitation, come and go as they please.
Yeah.
How do you look at the USS Hornet? Are these spirits that come in visitation when they're called upon? Do they revisit? Is there an attachment to this particular vessel, or is it there can be a combination of both things?
Yeah,
where I've heard some stories on the Hornet where they see somebody walking on the upper levels that doesn't acknowledge anybody. Then
Melissa did
like this.
I got to make a comment about this because so I don't usually get scared when I'm on ghost hunts or whatever. Like I've seen ghosts since I was 3 years old. I'm used to it. Normally don't freak out. However, and it didn't happen the first time, but the second time we were on the USS Hornet, we were in the big long room there. And I don't even remember what we were doing, something else entirely. And I got distracted and I looked out the portal door into the hallway, and I saw a very tall man walk out of one of the rooms and cross the view and then sort of disappear. And it all dark, like a shadow person. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I got chills through my whole body, just completely like the hackles raised, And I was like, and I had to interrupt. I was like, oh my God, you guys stop. Hold on. I just saw something. And I hopped up to run over and investigate it. Cause I was like, if I saw it, maybe there's an actual human over here. You want to debunk first. And when I ran over to there and I'm in the pitch dark and every hair stood on end, and I had, that shiver of fear that just runs through you sometimes. I had this like shiver of fear, and I turned back in the room and I was like, Paul. Because I was kind of scared for a second. I mean, we're filled with, nothing was going to happen, but it just, I did get like that little like hint of fear for a moment. Yeah. And then Paul comes over, and I think you felt something too, Paul, right? Because I was like in that little.
Yeah, I mentioned it because you saw it, and then I was like, I was looking, I saw it, and I was surprised that you mentioned it because you were like, okay, I saw it, and then I was looking at it too. But it was weird because she said it before me, and I'm like, okay, that's just a weird thing, if two people see it,
Totally. And I just had a really weird vibe. But a lot of people have apparently, and now I didn't know this story prior to this moment, but then after I saw it, everyone was like, oh yeah, everybody sees that ghost. So I think that's that particular ghost. And I'm going to use the word ghost deliberately. I do feel like that's a recurring one that a lot of people see, but it didn't acknowledge me. I don't think it acknowledged you, Paul. It just seemed like it just floats by, and that's it.
Ghost. Yep.
Well, that's the thing. It's an imprint. I'm not going to try to explain how it happens. I'm not going to give you that because I know that you're in a tin can, basically, with an awful lot of metal. So I'm not going to get into the, theory that these things absorb because I don't know how I feel about that anyway.
Right.
But I know that there are so many instances of, calling it what everybody recognizes intelligent versus residual. There often is a combination of both things in one location. Oftentimes, even to the point that sometimes the intelligent spirits are aware of the residual spirits. I've come across that too, where they don't talk to them either. Yeah, I know. I see the lady. She don't talk to nobody. She like stuck up or something. And I'm like, wow, that's mind blowing.
See, and I think that's why it's a good idea that like when me and Melissa in this next clip, like we'll hold hands and we'll get an energy swirling between us. And Paul, you had us do that when we were in the captain's quarter also, where we all held hands and we kind of started to swirl our energy. So maybe that would give us a little bit more opportunity to speak to those intelligent spirits rather than just seeing the kind of passersby that are just there.
The captain. We talked to the captain.
Yeah, that captain seemed like an intelligent spirit because
It like Melissa.
And he was funny too, right? Like there was music and stuff. That was an interesting experience. He seemed very active and very.
It was a little bit of a paranormal party in the captain's quarter. So I don't know if that's commonality or maybe he was just a funny guy.
I think Melissa had an attachment.
It's always up for a good party anywhere, and I believe that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show the clip, about a couple of minutes and a half long. So let's see what they're talking about. Here we go.
Footsteps behind us.
5 o'clock. My 5 o'clock. Behind me. Yep. And I've got goosebumps. Me too. I've got goosebumps. Thank you to whoever that is. Thank you. Oh my God. I am charmed. I am super charmed. We thank you. I definitely feel you in the room. Yeah, I do too. Wow. I appreciate you so much. Now, I've got goosebumps from head to toe, my legs. My head feels heavy. Honey, are you okay? Knock once. Yes? Yeah? Are you happy? You're just so happy to have someone to talk to. All right. I love that one. Thank you. Here we go again. So when that goes off, is that motion? No, that's proximity. So you have to be really, really close to that antenna for it to go off. Okay. Proximity. That was my angle. So you're right here. Can you also make this device? I'm just going to move this over here, and I just want to see if you can make both of them go off. Just get really close to it. You don't have to do much. Just let us know that you're really here. We heard you do a little bit of a nod. If you could do like that. Somebody just touched me right here. We heard you do a little bit of that nod.
I'm like, did you see it?
Yep, I see it. My pant leg moves in a weird way. Really subtle.
I don't know. Somebody just touched my hip right here. And there's nothing here. And it felt almost like a wind when you said it. Oh, really? Yeah.
That was
Okay.
weird.
Yeah,
Okay.
when I played that video back, and I was like, I was looking at her leg when I played it back, and I was like, oh man, it almost like tugged up, like it looked like her pant leg moved in a weird way.
Yeah, not in like a leg way. It's like it pulled out a little bit and then back. It was weird.
That if I know Cody and Story, if they're in chat right now watching, saying, "Hey, that's our thing." But no, I mean, listen. When you're talking about shared energy, you're talking about symbiosis. When people make physical contact with each other, why do couples hold hands?
Oh, totally.
It's not just for a display. There's a certain chemistry in that. There's comfort. There's shared. I'm going to stick with chemistry on this one, guys.
There's also a thing that we do in seances to sort of like get the energy going. So it's an old thing that's, from a long time ago, but you all sit together and you hold hands and you just sort of pass an energy bubble between you all. And there's a weird thing that happens whenever I do this, especially people who haven't done it before. In the beginning, they're always like, I'm not going to feel anything. And then when I go, okay, do you feel the bubble? And then they start to feel it. And then at a certain point, it starts out like several different ones from each individual person. And then it shifts and becomes one, and everybody's kind of joins. And every time I've ever done it, everyone can always feel when the energy sinks together like that.
Right. And so as soon as we had done that, I started to hear footsteps behind me at my 5 o'clock, and then the goosebumps came. So it was kind of like, all right, something's coming up on us. Like,
yeah, it works. It raises the energy somehow. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it does, because in that physical contact, as soon as a human being is introduced into a location, the atmosphere changes.
right.
I've seen, the almighty K2 meter, you know what I mean? Which, but I've seen that thing trigger with no electricity. And I don't necessarily think it's necessarily a spirit that may or may not be using it to, bridge a gap, to communicate with us. But the human presence in any room it affects the environment.
Yes.
It just does.
Yeah.
So when you use that as a way of just connecting, focusing energy, focusing thoughts on the same thing, why can't that affect the environment as well?
Right. And that's why we like to have, if we're going to use an EMF detector, we like to have more than one type. If we're going to use a REM pod, we want to have it in more than one place. You know what I mean? So we have multiple things like that, that tripwire that we put around.
Tripwire, yeah.
EMF. I have another one that's a tracer wire. That one is like a REM pod. It's proximity. So you have to get, it's motion. So you'll see in the next clip, when we're in the captain's quarters, we've got one device that does REM and EMF. We've got the standard EMF detector here. We've got the tripwire. And at one point, there was a little bit of a surge, just like what happened at the Pain House, where you could hear it come through the spirit box at the same time that you get a blip on the EMF. So it's kind of cool to see that happen when there's more than one device. Because I'm like you, Ken. Anything can set it off. It's like those cat balls. I just got these little holders for the cat balls so they don't just go off on their own.
Don't you ever say anything bad about cat balls. No, I'm kidding. I know. Oh
I
yeah.
mean it. Like I literally have
There we
this little holder that would keep it from rolling off. So I'm like, we'll test this. We'll
Yeah,
test
no,
this.
so it's always fun to test new gadgets, but to go back to what you're saying, Ken, I think the human factor is the key thing.
Yeah.
You could set up all of these devices and in a house overnight and take all the people out, and maybe some go off, maybe they don't, whatever. But the second you throw some people in there, it's going to be a lot more active.
Yeah. I
They
mean,
get what you give.
there's a lot more to, our brain functions and synapses and all this electrical energy that we have going through this.
And when you're joining hands,
Okay.
you're basically creating a portal to invite them in.
Yep. Totally.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes people don't pay enough attention to that. And in my mind, it's just as fascinating as, spirits coming through and everything like that is like, how our mind works, how our brain works, how we perceive these things.
Right.
All right. So we got captain quarters, guys. So let's go ahead on that. It's a couple of minutes long, but let's see what happens in the captain quarters of the USS Hornet.
All right, Captain. Here's
Radiation.
It's radiation. Okay, we just had a
Radiation.
conversation about radiation on this ship.
That's crazy.
Okay, so I have a question. Captain, does any radiation on this ship give you a boost of energy to talk to us?
Something used? All right, I like your little block.
Or something used? A use? Did you say a use?
That's the one guy.
That's
Just the one guy.
So can you... I just want to be clear. You can tap into the radiation that is somewhere on this ship, and it gives you some sort of energy.
Exposed.
Ooh!
Exposed to radiation? Is that how you died?
Or was it
You know what?
asbestos?
Almost
You
everybody
just watched the show.
would have been exposed.
Asbestos.
Everybody would have been exposed to radiation. I have
Oh my God, it went off.
I have mad
Yep.
goosebumps
Yep.
right now.
Wait a minute.
I'm like,
So we were watching TV the other day. There was a couple that got engaged. Were they on this ship or a different ship? They were 100.
Yeah.
She was having a birthday. She was going to turn 100. He was 101.
Ellen Williams. What was the guy's name?
I don't remember. Were you guys on this ship?
What was that?
it was a flare. Did you hear
Yeah.
it at the same time you saw it?
Yes.
It was like a lightning bolt.
So I'm just curious, Captain, because you seem to respond very well to radiation. Is there anything else that you want to tell us about that?
Was that because of some kind of atomic bomb? Look at the EMF. There were atomic bombs on this
When
ship.
you said atomic bomb,
Yup.
that thing's going off.
Look at that. You guys, I got goosebumps all up and down my
Oh
legs.
my God.
There's something right here. There's something. You feel this?
That is nuts.
Yep. Oh, it went right through me. Oh, hello. Is this still you, Captain?
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you for sticking around. We really appreciate talking to you.
That was just so buzzy the whole time. We were like high on paranormal activity.
And
I
later,
was impressed, Cheryl, with your ghost dance.
yes, the
And,
ghost. We danced more later. There was music, everything.
Yeah, Jim makes fun of me for that too, but you know what? When you feel it, you feel it.
Exactly.
Now, Paul and Michelle, you were kind of, front and center on that whole thing. And because you've been there more than anyone else here tonight, were there certain commonalities in your previous visits with this one, or were things just maybe ramped up a little bit more this time around?
I have to tell you, Ken, so we weren't planning originally to go into the captain's quarters. So before Jim was setting up the cameras, I walked in there and I had strong feelings in there. I'm like, we need to investigate in this room. I had never investigated that room before, so this was my first time in that particular part of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew, even when Melissa walked on, she felt it right away too. There was definitely a feeling in that particular room. It's actually kind of made you feel nauseous at first, but then you kind of got used to it, and it was just very strong. There were several mirrors that were kind of pointing towards each other, so I don't know if that was activating things or what, but it was a different feeling in there, and it turned out to be a really active room.
Yeah. So now I assume you pretty much had, from what I'm seeing, some kind of control over the area. It's not like you were in there with 50 people and, because those things, as, good as they are, you're welcome to them. But you know how it is. It's like,
But I think also, Ken, to the way that you had mentioned about, the energy of people.
Yeah.
So when we were in there, remember, we were in the captain's quarters and he had 3 ladies in there. So go figure.
Why not?
And to be clear, I mean, this was during the live stream investigation that we were doing. Now, Paul and Michelle had been up there with Jim, getting ready, setting up. Me and Melissa were late to the party because one of the gals from the other tour had to be like carried down the real steep stairs because she got nauseous, she was passing out, and she was not doing okay. So we had to we were supposed to be going up the stairs right there to the captain's quarters, but that's where she got like really, really sick and had to be like taken down step by step by step. And we, made sure that she got water and, something salty, something sweet, just to, make sure that she was okay before we came up to join the investigation. So, I mean, obviously the new people were feeling that feeling as well. Like that's a very powerful area in the ship. And it's hard to handle.
But as soon as you went in that room, you could feel it. I mean, it was like, whoa.
It was a paranormal party for sure.
Yeah, it felt like walking. It's like, there's something where the energy shifts. And I think you can all attest to this, where it's like everything just feels normal. And then it's almost like wading through water or something. All of a sudden, the air is just different. It's
kind of like being in an airplane and then it drops you off like in Hawaii and you get off the plane and it hits you like the humidity. You're like, oh my God.
Yes.
Well, in choosing the places to investigate, a lot of times you go to certain areas that had the most activity, right? Like if you're going into a house, you might want to go to the parlor because that was the most social part of the house. This is where so many people met, not necessarily bedrooms, but where people congregated. Last question for me before I bring George back in is the places that you went to, were these random or were they known hot spots? Or maybe a combination of both. Were there any places that you went, in other words, that maybe weren't a known hot spot, but still what you received was surprising to you?
I never heard of that cabin to be a hot spot, but I mainly when if I get the opportunity, I'll do like a little walkthrough first and I'll know this is the room. And usually that's where we get a lot of activity.
Yep.
But sometimes you do want to go where you've heard there's activity, but the spirits move around. And back to what you said, Ken, we were talking about this too. It's like when we were in the room with the conference room, it was like that was a serious room. So we didn't think we were going to get a whole lot of activity there. Whereas if you can go to like the mess hall where people are talking, they're eating, they're drinking, you might get more activity. So,
but I think it's a key point what Michelle said, and I try to do the same thing. And I think that, back in the day when there were all the ghost hunting people, there wasn't a lot of like ghost hunting and mediumship crossover. And now you have a lot more crossover. And I think that's where we really help each other because the medium or psychic or whatever, the sensitive person can walk through and kind of like what Michelle said and be like, okay, this feels strong today. This doesn't this time. And you kind of just map out the places that you want to go and then put your devices. And I find that gets you the best results.
But what's interesting is the first investigation we went there with the Spirit Realm Network, we were in the conference room. We never did go back into the captain's quarters.
Nope.
I ended up going back there and doing some EVPs, but I never got anything that night by myself. I left, continued the investigation with the gals and everybody on the first investigation. Second investigation, I already knew. I'm going to that room with everybody. I took the little barrier and I moved it, and I'm like, I'm gonna set up everything. I'm gonna go in here first. And then everybody's like, "You want to go in here?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Well, chain of command. You go to the captain's first, ask him permission to talk to the crew, and you put yourself back in that mindset. It's like, let me go to the top, make sure everything's okay, right? So I can understand it. All right. I'm going to disappear for a little bit and turn you over to George. There you go.
Thank you very much, Ken. Now, one of the things I need to, for the audience, both listening live and who listen post, is there going to be a point, and where would it be posted if it is, the evidence that you've collected? Obviously, you are running a camera long term and you're putting the excerpts together, but is there any place where that will be posted?
I mean, at this point, I don't have evidence specifically set up on my website because it's just hard to put it all up there.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot to do, but I think that's something I'll start to work on. Yeah.
Well, also, I just got to point out,
have some stuff too.
Cheryl and I have been talking. This has just been only conversation. We haven't really done much with it yet, but we're going to start our own little maybe monthly show where we're going to start sharing both of us. We have so much evidence from years of Glen Tavern and miscellaneous other places. And it's time to share this stuff. So we're talking about just doing a little thing. It's going to be, I think we've landed on phantom frequencies, but we're just going to do a little monthly show and share all the stuff from our investigation. But a lot of
that's stealing our thunder. Okay.
No, it's just, it's kind of one of those things. I kind of like to go back on old investigations and kind of see my growth because I mean, I investigated 4 different locations before I got my first EVP, right? And I only got one EVP at the Stanley Hotel. And now we're going to the USS Hornet, and it's like we've got multiple things. I've got hours of evidence. So it's just kind of like, kind of talking you out of progression.
Yeah. And then also Spirit Realm Network is another place where, after they do the lives, we did a live that night with them, and then they'll cut it and then put it up on your website. That sometimes takes a little time. And then Michelle and Paul, don't you have a place that you put stuff?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Anyway, but if you come to my channel, Spirit Chasers Paranormal Society, you're going to see all kinds of evidence, shows. I was just working on the Holbrook. We have some investigation that went on in the room 15. And that's going to be really cool, but because you could go to that right now and you could look it up, and then we have the Ovulus 3 running, and we were like, "What's the dog's name?" And then and it said female, and then it's like, okay, well, yeah, the dog's a female, and then it said marker, and then Michelle's like, "No, she better not be a marker." Maybe that's what he meant, but yeah, if you come to Spirit Chasers Paranormal Society, we post a lot of stuff on there, past investigations. And we're hoping to get the next one for the Glen Tavern Inn, since they're going to do a Paracon there next year. So me and Cheryl and Michelle, of course, we were in 308, and Melissa. Basically, we were in a lot of the rooms there: 306, 307, 308, and then the 107.
Yes, and that's a little secret. So let me share that. So Cheryl and I went to. We were invited to go to the Glen Tavern Inn by a friend who I'm going to not name that name because that's an anonymous person. And we talked to the new managers, and they loved us. Just FYI. And so they asked us if we could, sort of help out with some ghost hunts that they have going on. So there's one on the 17th, October 17th, that's totally sold out. And then there's several on October 31st and November 2nd, I think.
Yes.
And so we'll be there to sort of help out with that and facilitate it. And then we're also, got to talking to the manager on the loan, and sort of sharing ideas, and I was like, you guys should have a Paracon. So then a Paracon was born. So yeah, next year, it's probably going to be September next year. We're hoping to do a Paracon there, and we will all be, helping to run it and facilitate it with the blessings of the Glen Tavern. And I already have like 20 different paranormal people who are interested in joining us. Like Patty Negri said yes. Sam Beltru said, I can't say his last name, I'm blanking, said yes. Heidi Kemper said yes. Like a ton of people who are in the industry have said yes. Everybody's super excited about it. So I think Ken and George should plan to come to California next September for our Paracon. That's at Glen Tavern. That's what I think.
Or we go live
Chery.
and they put it on their feed, right?
Yes.
Because that's what Ken and George mentioned,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. We talked about that before, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, some restrictions prohibit taking care of my 91-year-old father, stepping away from that. But, man, I would love to. In spirit, I would love to be there. But, it's funny when you talk about the New England area. I mean, the investigators, the tour guides. I mean, people, they're tripping over each other. It seems like you guys have kind of monopolized the west coast of the United States.
Yeah, there's not as many out here. So
I mean, there's room for many. So bring it on. Bring your friends.
I'm wondering though, is there anybody else doing the extent of what you guys are doing?
So if anybody does have interest in coming to the Glen Tavern for the Halloween event, I mean, we really want to try to get some seasoned investigators for the 11:30 slot, because we're going to have the run of the third floor. So every single room. I have not even been in every single room on the third floor. So everybody's going to be able to, they're going to break them up in small groups and take turns using some different equipment in the different rooms. So we'll actually check out the whole third floor. It's going to be really, really like a one-time kind of a situation. So take advantage if you have the opportunity.
For sure.
Being on the USS Hornet overnight, did any of you actually sleep on those beds?
Barely.
Okay. I did send Ken some pictures. That's the sick bay right there. That's where you would sleep if you go on investigation yourself.
Mhm.
We were ended up in a stateroom. I did send Ken some pictures after the show started of what our stateroom looked like, but yeah, it was a little creaky.
Yep.
It was a little uncomfortable, but I can sleep anywhere. So.
And it's kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like, even though it's like it's creaky and old and whatever, it's cool. It just feels neat to like be in this old ship and to know like all of the history behind it and the different types of people that probably had slept in that same room. I mean, I don't know. Like, I kind of made me feel like a little something. It was interesting.
Yeah,
Paul,
it was really neat.
Paul, you kind of strike me as an investigator, not unlike myself. After an investigation, the shoulda, couldas, and wouldas. Do you compile that together, take notes on, and go, you know what? The next time we go there, or the next time we go to another place, we got to try this because I didn't even think about this, but now I'm going to do this.
Yeah, there is so much stuff that I have in my brain. Like, I'm like, oh, you know what? I need to have, this piece of equipment because it kind of cuts out the noise. And so I bring that, with us. And then it ended up to be very useful. We ended up getting a lot of relevant answers because of these devices. When we're using certain types of equipment, the devices that we use, there are certain devices in our field that you need to have, right? I mean, some of the stuff you cannot get, right? They don't make it anymore. So when you're able to get like, any type of device that is out there, like the Ovilus 3, or you could get like this device right here. The Polterpod.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one worked really well.
This device works really well, and we've gotten so much evidence with that. I mean, something like this, not everybody could have because they, like Jeremy doesn't make them. So Fortunately for me, I was able to talk to him and get a hold of him and say, "Hey, send me one," And I was begging him, and because he knows kind of like the same people that I know.
I recently made a phone call to a gentleman by the name of Troy up in St. Augustine. His business is Ghost Augustine, where they make equipment. And it was just an off the cuff question that I had and said, is there anybody out there that you know of that is working on a better digital audio recorder? And he said, no one, everybody's using their phone.
Wow.
And I was shocked by that because that's where I started and loved it, but, it's equipment, it's electronics, things break down over time. My Panasonics, I miss them. I still have them in memoriam, but they don't work anymore.
They can be
And
repaired. I'll send you some information.
And Cheryl's go-to is the DR60, of course.
I
Yeah.
do. I
It
do
was
love
clean with
VR.
the DR60.
It gives me that instant gratification that I just
Yeah.
so strive for. But I also have realized that using these other spirit boxes, like when we had the first comment come through, radiation, listen to that voice. That's not a radio voice. Like, where did that come from? I mean, it's just so. I mean, I'm trying all these different things, like, but I don't know. I'm gonna fall in love with something.
Yeah, and it's
I'm
trying
trying
to
to
find.
fall in love with that little red spirit box, but
Yeah, and it's not just the spirit box frequency, but your own frequency in interacting with it to
right.
try and get
Yeah.
that repetitive response back again. And that's the frustrating part that you wish it was just each and every time. But just on those clips alone, the success that you guys are getting from it was unimaginable.
Right.
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah,
got to
man,
it's got to give you
George,
pride.
it's
George, going back to your question that you had for Paul, I don't think he really answered it, but after our investigation, what we kind of brought back, like what we would do differently or whatever, I think a lot of times it's like we'll try something. Like we did something that didn't show up on any of the clips. It's probably on the Spirit Realm Network, where I passed on a passcode because we said there was probably secret codes. And so we whispered it to each other and we didn't say it out loud and the spirit said it out loud. So then it's like that worked and so did reading the mission statement. So it's like what after an investigation I always think like how can we push the envelope even further? What can we take from that and like do that same type of experiment but make it even more intriguing? So I think that kind of is what happens after an investigation. If something worked, it's like how can we make it even more, dynamic or, proof of the paranormal? Let's just twist it and try to make it work even better for the next one.
Yeah.
Pattern
But
recognition.
as a tech guy, you got to understand, you got to gather the evidence, not just gather the evidence, but you have to document it. And then you have to get the intelligent responses. So that's why I got this.
What
And
have
I
we got here?
because it loved it so much. So this guy,
Yeah.
this processor really does cut out all the extra static, so you can
Ooh.
really focus on the responses coming through, and you can rewind and play back. It's great.
It was awesome. We loved having this device.
Let me
Yeah.
get ahead of the audience and ask, where did you get that, and can others?
Ghost Stop.
Yeah, you can get it at GoStop, $250, I think.
Ghost
Yep.
Stop.
I just got one.
Yeah.
I
And
started playing with it, but I found that they have a Bluetooth option, so you can hook a little Bluetooth box up to that box that he was holding.
Nice.
Because my spirit box, the little red one, it does not have a plug out like an audio out. It's all Bluetooth, so it will hook up via Bluetooth, but it will also plug in like you had it set up.
now I didn't have the Bluetooth set up, but that's a very interesting thing because the Bluetooth is going over the airwaves. And when you're going over the airwaves, the spirits could just jump in on that airwave. And that was the coolest part about that's the next investigation. That's what we're going to do.
Totally. And I'm gonna test it up here in my loft and see if this young buck up here will talk to me a
You
little
live
bit.
in a haunted house too.
Totally haunted. Yeah. And I was just there. I felt it instantly up in the loft.
Stop playing with that Ouija board.
Yeah, so we got some new things to test, and thankfully, because of Paul and Michelle, like we're getting all these cool ideas for paranormal Mad Libs, and all these cool things. So just wait, like the next investigation, we're
There
gonna
you
have
go.
more stuff.
Paranormal Mad Libs.
Yeah.
Well, that's why it's so important. And as Ken rejoins us here on the screen, it's an important part to keep in contact with all of you so that, every quarter or every half a year, have you guys come back because these innovative ways of investigating can be spread virally throughout the community and let people take a look at that and say, you know what, we might have to do the Mad Libs. That seems to be working very well.
Everyone needs to do it. It was awesome.
Cutting edge.
Yeah, me and Michelle got some cool investigations coming up too. So
Yeah,
the
name them.
mission.
Where you guys going? Anything particular that we would know?
So we had mentioned earlier we're going to stop off this Sunday at the mission
In Riverside,
in
California.
Riverside, California. Yeah.
We might crash that party.
Yeah, Cheryl, Melissa, you got to come on down. Bring your equipment. Bring your stringer. Melissa, bring your clairvoyant, sentient.
So I can just go in right at the beginning and say, "Hey, I know somebody." Is that it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey,
Yeah.
listen,
They
before
do
we
it
get
for
out
that.
of here, I just wanted to touch on a couple of things real quick. Cheryl, you mentioned quarters. That's an example.
Yeah, I was on the top bunk. Let's not talk about how I got up there. It was a little embarrassing.
That was
Yep. Here's a little video.
I'm gonna take the
It's immaculate.
Yes.
It is immaculate and it's cozy.
What was that buzzing sound just now?
I think
That's just what the ship sounds like, honey. That is like
constant humming everywhere around the ship.
Wow.
Right. Let me see if I can get rid of this.
before we leave too, we've got classes coming up. I know I'm excited
yes.
about. We need to talk about our classes too.
Yeah, I have a couple classes coming up. I don't know if am I on? Am I still working? My screen looks a little frozen.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
All right. Well, one of the things before we get out of here, I also wanted to put up there is a couple of things that Melissa has going on.
Yeah, so I have a necromancy for beginners class coming up at the Green Man store. That's going to be in person and online, so you can join on Zoom. And that's on October 19th from 2 to 4 p.m. And then that's a one-off class. And then I have my huge, big mediumship for witches series is also coming back. And that one's the next graphic. And that one's going to be an 8-week series and where we take a real big deep dive into what it means to talk to spirit and how to sort of awaken your psychic abilities so that you can do it better.
It helped me.
Very good.
I taught this class that the series, that's the mediumship for witches series. I haven't taught for like 3 years and I probably won't do it again for another 3 years because it's a lot. So if anyone's interested in that, it's like now or never. And it will all be recorded. So if you can't make it live, you can watch the videos after.
Wonderful.
Outstanding. Well, I think you guys are, again, you're keeping it on the cutting edge, which is so critically important, but you're also holding on to the ideology of what we are as paranormal investigators. So that never escapes you. And I applaud you guys for that. I really do.
Oh, thanks.
I just wish we weren't separated so far from each other.
I know.
But sometime maybe you guys will take a trip to Florida. Who knows?
It'll happen.
All right, let's work on it.
But all right, well, we're going to head on out, guys. We want to thank everybody for watching tonight. Don't forget tomorrow night, Town Hall, 8 p.m. Eastern. Who knows what's on the docket? You'll have to wait
Who
and
knows?
see. But Cheryl, Melissa, Michelle, Paul, thank you guys so much. Have yourself a great rest of the week, and we'll connect again soon. Have you back on.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease, bitten lips, bruised.